You are not waiting on success. Success is waiting on you. It has always been one decision away. The decision to act like the thing you seek is already yours. The world does not move for the hesitant. It bends for the man of certainty. It rearranges itself for the individual who walks, speaks, and thinks as if his vision is a present fact, not a distant dream. You do not become great by waiting for results. You become great by behaving in harmony with them before they arrive. Because the mind, when fed a clear picture backed by belief, does not know the difference between what is imagined and what is real. And when you act like you've already made it, with clarity, with purpose, with emotional power, the world begins to catch up. Stop speaking like you're unsure. Stop walking like you're uncertain. Stop asking for permission to be what you were already called to become. There is a difference between arrogance and alignment. Arrogance seeks praise without substance. Alignment builds substance before proof. One shouts without foundation. The other moves in silence, knowing that the foundation is already laid. When you act like you've already made it, you are not lying to yourself. You are telling your mind which reality to build. And the mind, once it receives instruction backed by emotion, backed by repetition, backed by desire, it obeys. It begins to search, to attract, to connect the unseen to the seen. It does not ask how. It begins with who. And that who is you, fully committed, fully engaged, fully expressed in the frequency of your future. You do not get ready. You decide you're already it. And everything else begins to shift. Energy becomes direction. Thoughts become structure. Movement becomes momentum. But none of it begins until you behave as if the thing you seek is already within you. Not in theory, but in practice. Because it is. The vision in your mind was not planted by accident. It is evidence of what's possible. And if it was possible, it is already available. If it is available, it is only waiting for one thing, the man who moves like it's already done. So what does that man do? He speaks differently. He speaks with purpose, not for reaction. He commands time because he no longer trades it for comfort. He plans, not from desperation, but from design. He is not busy. He is building, not reactive, but refined. He does not carry the energy of hope. He carries the energy of conviction. And conviction, when lived with consistency, becomes identity. And identity is what reshapes the world around you, not the other way around. You are not stuck. You are not behind. You are only out of alignment with who you've been called to be. Begin today, not by waiting for results, not by chasing approval, but by stepping into the posture, the rhythm, the internal truth of the version of you that has already crossed the finish line. Because when you do, your surroundings, your relationships, your money, your opportunities, they begin to respond, not to what you want, but to who you are being. You've seen glimpses of this, moments when you believed fully, and things moved, moments when you stood tall, and doors opened, moments when you didn't chase, and what you needed arrived. That was not coincidence. That was the law in motion, cause and effect, led by inner behavior first. So train the mind with discipline. Feed it vision, not confusion, and act not from what is, but from what will be, until what will be becomes what is. You have no obligation to play small. You owe no one an apology for growing, and you do not need proof to start living like the future has already arrived. Start building it in the invisible. and the visible will follow. You must understand, the subconscious mind does not respond to facts. It responds to faith. It does not act on logic. It acts on repetition mixed with emotion. The man who feeds his subconscious with hesitation receives confusion, but the man who speaks to it with clarity, who impresses it daily with the image of who he already is becoming, he rewires the world beneath his awareness, because your life will always match the blueprint you allow to live the longest in your mind. Not the one you write once, but the one you rehearse, the one you embody, the man who visualizes his victory daily, with depth, with emotional intensity, with stillness, with purpose. That man doesn't wait for confidence. He builds it, and confidence built from repetition becomes character. There will come a day when your results match your rituals, but that day begins with internal instruction, the command you give your thoughts, the authority you apply to your emotions, the precision with which you guard your energy. If you do not program the mind, the world will. And the world will fill it with fear, with noise, with delay. But the man who acts like he's already made it doesn't entertain delay. He turns it into discipline. He doesn't negotiate with weakness. He recognizes it, yes, but he does not feed it. He trains through it. He thinks through it. He walks anyway, because the decision has already been made. Do not confuse stillness with weakness. The man who knows what he's building can be quiet because his vision is loud. He does not need to explain himself to the uncertain. He does not need to be seen to stay focused. He does not need to announce his every move. He moves with the weight of inner clarity, and that is power. The world chases noise. But elevation lives in deliberate energy, in the man who thinks before he speaks, in the man who delays gratification, in the man who invests in silence because he knows what grows there. And what grows there is alignment. And alignment, once felt, becomes sacred. What does it mean to act like you already made it? It means you start behaving like the man who has already earned your future. Even if your current environment has not caught up yet, you no longer wait for permission. You no longer adjust your energy to fit small spaces. You no longer reduce your vision for the comfort of those who have none. You rise. You command your time. You protect your habits. You pursue the uncomfortable. You expect results, not with arrogance, but with the quiet strength of inevitability, because you've trained your nervous system to recognize the future as familiar. You've seen the outcome too many times in your mind to be surprised when it shows up. You're not impressed by it. You are prepared for it, and preparation is a form of reverence. There is no power in hoping for what you are not preparing to receive. The man who says he wants the future but acts like the past is lying to himself. But the man who dares to live in advance, to think, feel, speak, move, and persist as if the world has already delivered, that man becomes a magnet for the result, because results come to the man who is ready to hold them, and readiness is revealed through daily behavior, not empty affirmation. Stop waiting for the world to recognize you. Start recognizing yourself. Start showing up in the morning like the one who already owns the schedule. Start walking into rooms like the one who has already outgrown the opinions that once held him back. Start acting with the posture of the one who has paid the price in full, in advance, with sweat, with silence, with resilience. You are not pretending. You are becoming. You are not faking it. You are feeding it until the fire is strong enough to speak for you. And when it does, you won't have to say much. the room will shift, the opportunities will open, the resistance will crumble, because life doesn't reward force, it responds to frequency. And when your frequency matches your future, nothing can block you. No delay can deny you. No man can replace you. You are in motion. And momentum, once built, becomes sacred ground, the kind of ground only the faithful ever reach. The man who acts like he already made it is not playing a role. He is playing for keeps. He is not pretending for applause. He is preparing for arrival. And that preparation requires persistence, not occasional effort, not flashes of excitement, but a steady, unshakable refusal to stop moving forward. Persistence is proof of belief. You do not persist in what you doubt. You only persist in what you have already claimed in the Spirit and are now building with your body. So the man who shows up again and again without applause, without comfort, without signs, that man is not just working, he is becoming. Every minute you stay in motion, you are separating yourself from the masses, because the masses quit. They slow down, they negotiate with pain, they wait for motivation, but the one who has already made it in his mind does not wait to feel like it. He trains the feeling. He shows up before dawn, not because it's easy, but because it's part of who he is. He builds when no one's watching because results are not the reward. Integrity is, and that integrity is what earns the result long before the world delivers it. Persistence is not loud. It is quiet, repetitive, focused. It is the daily decision to act like it's already done and to keep acting, especially when nothing around you reflects it. Do not be deceived by appearances. The delay is not denial. It is development. And if you stop now, you abort the version of you that was only beginning to take shape. There is a man inside you who does not quit, who does not lower the standard, who does not flinch at resistance. He does not seek comfort. He seeks clarity. He does not count effort. He commits to outcome. You've met glimpses of him. Now make him the only version that survives. Burn the one who waits, the one who hesitates, the one who shrinks, and build the one who acts like it's already done, because in his world it is. The power is not in achieving. The power is in holding the vision while you are being shaped, holding the belief through delay, holding the energy through silence, holding the identity when the world tries to remind you who you used to be. You will be tested not by people, but by your own habits, by your impulses, by your need to feel progress. But understand this, the result does not come first. The standard comes first, and the result obeys the standard. Raise it, hold it, become it. Even if no one claps, even if no one calls, even if nothing moves, because your job is not to chase momentum. It is to become unshakable in its absence. That is how you break average, not by working harder than everyone wants, but by refusing to descend back into smallness after you've caught a glimpse of who you could become. You've already seen it. You've already tasted the higher standard. Now live in it. Speak as that man. Think like that man. Protect your thoughts like that man does. Move through discomfort like that man would. Because that man, the one who already made it, doesn't complain. He adjusts. He doesn't search for signs. He becomes the signal. He doesn't ask for easier paths. He sharpens himself until the path bends to meet him. You are not here to be inspired. You are here to be ignited. There is a level of you that can no longer coexist with excuses, with scattered energy, with part-time ambition. That level only becomes real when your decisions reflect the belief that it already exists. now. So build the habits that reflect that belief. Eat like him, walk like him, think, sleep, speak, create like the one who has already arrived. Because every time you delay that version of yourself, you delay the reward that's attached to him. And the truth is, you are not waiting on success. Success is waiting on you to start acting like you belong in the room you've been afraid to step into. There will come a day when the life you've imagined no longer lives in your mind. It will live in your voice, in your footsteps, in your presence. Not because the world gave it to you, but because you refused to live like it wasn't already yours. You will not arrive by chance. You will arrive by alignment, by the thousands of invisible decisions you made when no one else believed, when no one else saw, when you kept walking anyway. That is how men are built. That is how legacies are formed, not in the comfort of the known, but in the fire of faith. You act like you already made it, not because you're trying to impress anyone. You act that way because you finally understand you're not waiting on the life. The life is waiting on the behavior. And when your behavior matches the dream, you become the bridge between vision and reality. There are people in the world who are not smarter than you, not more disciplined, not more gifted, but they acted faster. They carried belief longer. They stopped waiting to feel ready and started living as if it was already theirs. They didn't build confidence first. They built consistency, and confidence came. They didn't need permission. They needed one decision, the decision to move as the man who already holds what others are still chasing. This is the truth. The man who waits for validation is a slave to timing, but the man who validates himself through action commands outcomes. You are not a seeker. You are a builder. You are not a hopeful man. You are a certain one. You know what's coming because you are already living in harmony with it. You know who you are becoming because you have stopped negotiating with who you used to be. And now you've reached the point of no return. You can't go back, because you've seen what alignment tastes like. You've felt what it means to rise without applause. You've learned how to lead yourself when the world stays silent. You are no longer asking, will it happen? You are now saying, it is already done. And when you speak like that, walk like that, move like that, life doesn't resist you. It reflects you. It opens doors that logic said should be closed. It introduces you to people, places, and opportunities your past would never recognize, because you stopped looking through the lens of limitation and started living in the frequency of inevitability. Act like you already made it, because that act is not a performance. It is permission to step fully into who you are, to take the next step without fear, to train, to speak, to serve, to lead, to create, as if the reward has already been written in stone. And if you stay in that posture long enough, if you walk in that energy daily, you won't have to tell the world you've arrived. The world will already know, because the man who acts like he's already made it becomes the man who has.